So the first thing we have to do is to remember, what does it mean, Kedusha? What does it mean, Kadosh? What does that mean? You remember?
Kadosh?
Uh-huh.
I can give you the basic definition you don't like.
No, I want the definition I do like. The one I tell you all the time, you remember?
I'm gonna go with chesed.
No, that's really bad.
Yichud.
Listen. Okay, no. Okay, listen. Kedusha, we'll just do this a little review. We'll do a little review over here. Okay. The word Kedusha has two implications. Okay. One is godliness. Okay. Which means to say there's a concept called creator and creation.
Yeah.
Because creator and creation, that's a very objective distinction between things we find in reality. Creator and creation. Creator is separate from creation. He is separate from creation. Okay, that's called creator. So one definition of Kedusha is a downflow of godliness into the world. Okay, when there's a down, we always give you a mushal like a tree with a fruit. So we say that there's a certain connection between the godliness and the neshama. The neshama is like a fruit growing on the tree, and the Kedusha is like the sap coming from the, or whatever goes from the fruit, from the tree to the fruit. Right, that's called Kedusha. So that's the definition we need to know at this point. Okay, so we say Hashem is Kadosh, we're explaining He is godly. He's beyond the creation. Atak Kadosh means He's godly, He's beyond the creation. Okay, V'Shimcha Kadosh, His name is Kadosh. Okay, that means to say that His name, the name is always the way that He expresses Himself into the world. The way that He expresses Himself in the world is something which is not understandable always by people. It's separate, right? It's beyond our understanding a little bit. It's beyond us. But He's Kadosh means it's separate from He's distinct. It's distinct and raised up and above everybody else's expression in the world. The world itself recognizes Hashem through His name. So we always want to sanctify, as we talked about before. We're trying to sanctify Hashem's name in the world. So we're saying over here, His name is Kadosh, means His name is His name, which means the way He expresses Himself in the world is holy. So whatever He does, He's got a reason for doing it. It's all good, and He knows what He's doing. That's called His name is holy. And then it says, Ukadoshim b'chol yom yilucha sela. The Kedoshim, that's the Jewish people, are constantly praising Hashem. We're also supposed to be holy. That's why I told you before, the Rabbeinu Yonah says that Hashem made us holy so we could sanctify His name in the world. Now I told you at the beginning of the Shemona Esrei that these three blessings are an introduction to the Shemona Esrei. The first one's connected to Avram, the second one's connected to Yitzchak, and the third one's connected to Yaakov. Okay, Yaakov himself represents the idea of Kedusha. Okay, he has something called the Tzelem Elokim. Yaakov, particularly, the Maharal explains, has something called the Tzelem Elokim. And the Tzelem Elokim is the way that we connect and bring the godliness into this world. That's called the image of God. That's what Yaakov, that's why it says his face was was carved into the Kisei HaKavod. There's a certain connection, particularly between Yaakov and godliness. Okay, so this bracha itself is connected to Yaakov. Now I mentioned to you also that there's three different ways to approach the Shemona Esrei in general. Remember that? We talked about one is through Hodah, recognizing our relationship with Hashem, right? So if we plug that in over here, we're recognizing that Hashem is just beyond us. We're supposed to be very, very small. Hashem is beyond us. Hashem is Kadosh. Now we finish off, we say, Baruch Atah Hashem, Kel HaKadosh. Kel, that is the language. What's the name of Kel represent? All the different midos represent all the different names have different expressions. What's the name Kel? Remember?
It would be, I remember Malchus was Adoki, and then Yud Ke Vav Ke was Rachamim. So I'm gonna go with Yichud.
Okay, so generally speaking, Yud Ke Vav Ke is Rachamim or Yichud. Yud Ke Vav Ke would have a lot. Yud Ke Vav Ke has a lot of different implications. The word Kel is always Chesed, for whatever reason. Kel, yeah. The simple, it's interesting that kel actually means strong, which is not what you would think about chesed. You expect kel to be gibor, strong. But kel is, because that's what kel means. But the idea is over here that Hashem's chesed is something that's not really stoppable. It means it's constant, it's flowing. He doesn't have anything, he hasn't placed that in our hands. That's something which just comes from him, it's beyond. So that's a certain quality of the ultimate strength and a certain quality because it's unstoppable. It can do whatever it wants.
That's also that's the same concept with Elokeinu, Velokei.
Elokeinu has different implications.
Power, no?
That's right. The Balakochos Kulam, he's the powers, and we say Elokeinu, he's like our source of power. Over here, this is different. This is lesson of Kel, which is lesson of Chesed. Okay. So the idea is when we say Kel HaKadosh, we're saying that his holiness is not holiness which is just separate, not connected. It's above and beyond, which gives him the ability to have a certain quality of Chesed, which is a godly quality of Chesed that's beyond creation. That's called a Kel HaKadosh. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the godliness can come to make us afraid because he's God. We're little creations. Well, we're not emphasizing that. We're emphasizing his godliness allows him to bring goodness and chesed, which is beyond creation, which is bigger than creation is. That's called a kel kadosh. Okay? So when we say this bracha, one approach is, we explain the approach of humility and trying to recognize our relationship before Hashem. We're saying he's the kel kadosh. We're making ourselves small before God. We're focusing on this idea of he's God and he's the ultimate source of all the chesed we're receiving. That's one approach. The other approach we said is we're an extension. Remember, to start off with Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, right? Elokei Abraham, Elokei Yitzchak. So we said one approach is recognizing that the relationship didn't start with us, and we're just picking up the continuation over here. We're small, right? That's called the humility approach. One approach is we're an extension of Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. So over here, that would be emphasizing the idea that we're trying to sanctify Hashem's name in the world. When we say every bracha, we're saying, Baruch Atah Hashem, your name should be sanctified in the world. Right? And the other approach was the Rachamim approach. Again, we were asking that his Rachamim should be brought out. The Yud Kei Vav Kei also represents Rachamim, right? So we're focusing on that aspect also. Baruch Atah Hashem, he should bring us Rachamim because he's the Kel HaKadosh. He has an unlimited source of Chesed. So Rachamim feeds off of Chesed. So he's totally beyond. You understand? So either way, it all works. Whatever approach you want, just should have something, some approach. There should be an approach. Got it?
That's great.
Okay. Next. Now, every one of the brachas we're going to try to realize has a challenge and an issue behind it. Oftentimes, the challenge in the issue revolves around the idea that we think we're davening for something we don't really appreciate, we need it. And we don't really believe it's going to change much. For example,
it's like things that like are there naturally.
Yeah, things are natural. We don't always associate them with Hashem. So if a person wants to understand something, right, he should go and learn about it. If you want to understand, Megillah, go learn Megillah. If you want to understand Purim, go learn Megillah. If you want, whatever you want to do, go learn it. You know what I'm saying? We don't always appreciate how much our understanding is dependent on Hashem. Okay, so we have to recognize if we don't understand we're missing something, then we're not really going to be able to daven for it. In order to daven for something, you have to recognize you're missing something, and Hashem is ultimately the only way you can get it. You got it?
Yeah.
Okay. So over here, we say, we have something called das, bina, and haskell. So we have to define these terms. What does it mean, das, bina, and haskell? Okay.
Where's haskell?
Oh, you probably got Sephardi. You're das, bina, and chachma? Chachma, bina, and das? Okay, so I'm doing the Ashkenazi one. I'm going to do that first in any case. Okay. And then I'll go back and explain yours. It's a little different approach. Okay? Okay. So right now, the das and the bina doesn't matter right now. Das. The first thing is we have to know, what does it mean, das? So when we approach this bracha with the understanding that it's something we don't always know what we're missing, because if you want to understand, go learn. We have to understand that das itself is something that you can't really get in a book. Das is a gift from Hashem. The pasuk said,
it's relating to it.
The ability to relate to reality properly is called das. Let me explain to you. Right. So you can learn all about Pesach, whatever you want, but you got to relate to it. It's got to resonate with you. That's called das. You can't get that in a book. It's the das is how much is going to go into your heart. So how much can you connect the knowledge of your head with your heart? The knowledge that's connected to you is called the das. And it's not something you can really get in a book at all. You understand? Das is going to define the way you see the world. It's going to define what what you connect to, what you're really excited about. That's called your das. Understand? Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So that's what we're done. We're saying atachonein le'adam da'as. Why are we over here? We're talking about Adam, and the next we're talking about Enosh. Right? Why dafka Adam? You see that? Lenosh, melamed lenosh bina. You talking to me? I see your mouth moving, but I can't hear you.
You hear me, Rav?
Now I do.
Okay, so Chayin LaAdam is related to Adam, and Enosh is to Enosh.
No. Adam is for sure. Adam is connected to the das, and Enosh is Labina.
Enosh is still we're talking about Adam. I'm saying like.
No. Atachonein le'adam das. So you give to the Adam das.
Mm-hmm.
There's a connection between Adam and das. There's a connection between umelamed le'enosh bina.
Okay. And you
got it?
Okay. Yeah.
So I just wonder what's the connection between all these words over here. Now there's a chonein. We explained that chonein, that's always a language of like a free gift. The Hashem, it's called chanina. Right? When a person finds favor in Hashem's eyes, then he'll give it to him. Right? So the pasuk, I think it's a pasuk in Mishlei, it says, Hashem yitain chachma, Hashem gives wisdom, mipiv dasu tvuna. From his mouth comes the das and the tvuna. Which means that the chachma, right, this is the chachma are the facts. So Hashem already has given us the facts in the Torah. But in order to appreciate and use those facts properly, you need something called das and tavuna. That comes from his mouth. That's a special gift from Hashem. Okay? It's something that you can only get from Hashem. No matter how much you learn, you got to get this from Hashem. That's what it says. Hashem yitain chachma, gives the chachma, that's the wisdom. Mipir dasu tavuna. So, over here, we're davening for the das. It's not just enough to have it in our head. We want Hashem should give us the das. And the reason why this is associated with the Adam, because das is really what defines an Adam. A person who doesn't have das is not really an Adam. The essence of being an Adam is das, right? To the extent that a person doesn't have das, he's kind of like a behemoth. This is what we're going to be learning a lot about in the heart classes, right? That the heart is the place of this kind of das we're talking about over here. The heart is the source of where the person connects to their neshama potentially, and it can resonate with him. They can connect, right? And that's something that it's a special gift from Hashem. So that's why it says Adam, because without that, the person's an animal. It means he's following he's going to be connected to his animal side. Got it? Because
animals cannot relate.
Animals means the das we're talking about over here is the das of our neshama, of the panemius. So animals don't have a panemius. When a person doesn't have this, then automatically they're going to be relating to their goof, and they're not going to resonate. They're not going to be able to incorporate the teachings of the Torah into their heart properly. So the das means connection back to the intellect, into the heart. You got it?
Yeah.
This is really the tikkun. This is what happened at the chet of the Eitz das. There was a certain disconnect of the das. And it connected us in a way that we couldn't really connect to the true das anymore.
If just that, why is it called Eitz das tov v'ra if it was just brought bad?
Because before that, man was completely connected, to the tov. Eitz das tov v'ra means now it's a mix. So now he's connected to both. Before he was just connected to the tov. Now it's a combination.
That's good.
Got it?
And that's more confusing.
That means that now you can make a decision. Now you can connect.
Means
they both relate to you. A person can have double cheese pizza. He can have Coke, and it's going to be the taste of life. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't possible before. That's called das of the ra. It means it's resonating with him. You understand?
Got you, Rav.
Okay. After a person has das, they still need to have understanding properly. Understanding is in a certain quality. a higher level, but it's after a person gets past the das. Okay, this is more understanding. Understanding is a higher level, and that's called enosh. Rashi and Chumash says that enosh is lashon of chashivut, means something which is more uplifted already. It's not just an adam; it's already more developed. Okay, it could have different implications also, but that's what Rashi says in the Chumash, and that's also what the Maharal says in this regarding this bracha. Yeah, yeah. So even though das is more important, what's more important? A certain quality, you need everything, of course, but das is more fundamental. Without das, you're not even a person, right? But then you want to go further and get something called bina. So bina is the ability to have davar mitoch davar. So to understand the facts properly, even if you relate to the facts, it's not enough just to relate to them. You have to understand what they mean. So what does it mean, bina? I'll give you just to give you a simple on microphone yourself so we can talk to you for a second, David.
Yeah, Rav, I'm here with you.
So bina, no, I know. I want you to answer a question though.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to try to explain to you what does bina mean so we can appreciate this. So if I tell you a fact, bina always develops a fact that is beyond things that are actually in the fact itself. It says, let's say I say that Shmuel has a car. That's a fact. That's called a piece of chachma.
Yeah.
So what can you know from that fact that I didn't tell you?
That Shmuel got the car.
Okay, that must be true.
Yeah, must be true. Shmuel pays insurance for the car.
Okay, that's probably true, I hope.
Shmuel puts gas into the car.
So it needs money to put the gas. He needs money to maintain the car.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
He uses the car for things that he needs in his day-to-day.
Okay, good. So we've got all these different things. So there's all different kinds of things that you can get out of that fact. Now, I didn't tell you any of those things. I just told you as a car. And you're going to go now, if I tell you like this, that's easy to understand. Let me try a more sophisticated one. Okay. If I tell David, you have a neshama. What does that mean? What does that mean?
I'm connected. That means I'm connected to a higher source than my personal being.
Okay.
That means that I'm gonna have a chelik in Olam Haba.
Okay.
One day.
Okay.
That means that I'm coming from Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov.
Okay. So let me stop over here. Now you said three things. Yeah.
What's going to happen, how it happened, and distinguishing from reality, right?
Are you trying to look back at your notes?
Yeah.
Okay. There's three different types of bina. Yeah, it's awesome. That's good. That's good. Now the facts that you said though, right? Are you 100% sure that they're all true?
100%.
100%. Okay. So you have to know that bina is something which is very, very easy to make mistakes about.
Really?
Right? So, very easy to make mistakes about.
Did I make a mistake, Ralph?
Maybe. It doesn't matter. That's not the point. But it's very easy to make mistakes about. And it's something because you can get a lot of different things out of a lot of different things. Like if I talk to a Reform rabbi, and I ask, what does it mean you have a neshama? It means you should kiss everybody who's next to you so that you show how much you love everybody. I don't know. So that's what it means. That's like definitional.
Weird stuff. Oh boy.
Right, some weird stuff.
Okay.
So the point is, a lot of times we use our koach of bina, but it's not necessarily producing the right answers. Exactly. It could be some are farther, some are closer.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Some are farther, some are closer. Right?
Yeah.
But so it's something that you have to have siyata d'shmaya on. Because there's so many ways you can go wrong. The fact that even if you're using your bina, and the bina is always being used a little bit, you're not necessarily going to get the right thing coming out of that fact.
Right.
So I'm saying it's something
You could
because
be way off. You could be way off.
You could be way off, or you could be a little bit off, but it's still off.
Oh, okay. Still off. Yeah.
One thing's a little bit off. It's going to make everything that comes after that also a little bit off.
How do you use that siyat? How does siyat d'shmaya come into play with it? Just like straight up, like I have like.
So there's an interesting Gemara.
Yeah, how does that play in with
There's an
bina?
interesting Gemara in Bava Basra that it says that a chacham is adif min navi. Means a chacham is better than a navi. Why is a chacham better than a navi? So the Maharal explains because a navi sees a vision and he has to understand what the vision means. Now, a navi is a big tzaddik. He's also very smart. He's understanding. So generally speaking, Hashem knows that he's going to get to the right answer. Okay. Mm-hmm. A chacham, says the Maharal, Hashem actually manipulates his mind to bring it to the right answer.
Oh wow.
What do we daven? What do we say in the Birchas Torah? We say, "Malamed Torah li'amo Yisrael." He teaches Torah. How does he teach Torah to Klal Yisrael? So Hashem is actually involved with us, trying to manipulate. He gives us a shkacha over our minds to come up with the right answers, to come up with the proper understanding through his hashgacha. That's called malamed. Malamed means he teaches Torah to the Jewish people. Because the Torah is inside of us. Like, see, this is what it says. Hashem yitain chachma, from his mouth comes the das, and tavuna is lashon of bina. You understand? So that's something, it's something which requires a lot of understanding. You know, if you say, what does it mean you have a neshama? It means you need to feed the neshama, just like you need to feed the car gas. You need to feed the neshama Torah. So how are you going to feed? You need to feed a Torah. So how are you going to do that? It means a lot of different things. Okay, but you got to understand. Does it also mean
that we come from the avos?
Not necessarily, because a ger also has an neshama. He doesn't come from the avos.
A ger, true.
Right, the neshama means we're children of Hashem. The neshama means we're children of Hashem.
Doesn't mean you have a chelik in Olam Haba?
It means potentially you do. Doesn't mean you do. It says every Jew does potentially, if they can lose it.
Wow. Okay, yeah, that's nice. That's nice stuff.
Okay, so that's called bina. So there's a koach of bina, but the koach of bina needs help from Hashem. So these are things we're always depending on our bina. What we're going to do has a lot to do with our understanding and our das, right? So we always need help over here to make sure we're going to come out with we're going to be connected properly and come up with the proper results. You got it? So that's called malamed. Yeah. He teaches. That's why it's malamed lenosh bina.
And that's where the siyat d'shmaya is. That he's literally
that's what we're learning. Right. We want Hashem should actively and be involved. So these are two things where we mamish need Hashem's active involvement, and without these two things, we will not get to where we need to go. Period. And it completely depends. So this is the first one we daven for. Wow.
No, that's crazy actually.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. So that's crazy because what's it called? Like when you're learning, you don't think like that. When you're learning, you don't think like the chachma you're getting or the little bit of information that you're getting. It's mamish. It's from it's Hashem learning with you. It's like you're not getting it from yourself.
You might be getting it from yourself, but you don't want to be. You want to get Hashem is helping your mind to come to the. I mean, you want to get Hashem should be helping your mind to come to the proper conclusions as much as possible.
Right, and wow.
That's why there's a lot of halachas about how to learn properly.
When you're getting the proper conclusions, your Rav can contest to that. That means like you're literally getting divine, interaction.
Yeah.
You.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for
in
sure.
That
That's
moment.
What learning is. That's right, 100%.
Wow. What's hilchos learning?
Well, what?
You said there's halachas for learning.
There's a lot of halachas. You're supposed to learn with proper respect, that the sheen is in front of you, all different things that you're supposed to, we don't always, not everybody always, knows these things and knows them properly, but there's certain ways you're supposed to learn.
Right.
You can look at Derech Hashem. He talks about some of like the basic foundations over there in learning Torah. Okay.
I have a Derech Hashem. Yeah.
Not now.
Yeah. Not now.
No. Okay. Now it says.
We're good.
What's the next? How does your nusach go in your tefillah?
My nusach says. Ata chonen la'adam das, malamed lenosh bina, chanenu meitcha chachma bina v'das. Baruch atah Hashem chonen adas.
Okay, good. Okay.
It's not really nusach svard. It's nusach ari.
No, I think Sfard does the same thing though. I think Sfard has the same kind of a thing.
Okay.
I think it's only Ashkenazi it says the other way. Now the reason I don't know for sure, meaning the reason why Ashkenazis do not say this prize is because Hashem yitain chachma. Hashem already gave the chachma, so there's nothing to dive into about the chachma. So what does it mean the chachma? The way I understand it is as follows. I don't know if this is correct. This is the way I understand it and the way I explain it. There's a difference between chachma. There's something called a midah of chachma. Okay, it says Hashem gives wisdom to the wise. You understand what I'm saying? So what does it mean? A midah of chachma is a person who approaches the world with wisdom. There's a midah of bina. He's always trying to understand everything. There's a midah of das, trying to connect things properly. So it could be what the Nusach, the Sfard is saying, the Arizal is saying, we're asking over here for the midot, these qualities. Chaninu made chachma, that we should have this quality of being chachamim. Not just the physical, not just the facts, but we should have the midas of chachma, bina, and das. We should have the chabad. We should have these midot and act that way. We should be upraised and connect in that way. It could be that's what it means. You know what I'm saying?
Now, Rav, yeah, I understand that. But you said before that Hashem already gave the chachma.
No. What I said before
That's
about I
why.
said Hashem yitain. Listen carefully. Hashem yitain chachma. That means to say the facts of the Torah are already there. They're already given. If you want to go learn about them, go to the basement. That's called Hashem yitain chachma. So the facts are already given. The chachma has been given to the Torah already. It's in the Mishnah Berurah. It's in the Gemara. It's in wherever you want it to be in the Chumash. So therefore.
But don't we say? Didn't we just say that Hashem constantly gives it also at the same time? Or that's the
Hashem
bina?
is giving us the bina, the das and the bina. It says Hashem yitain chachma mipiv dasu tavona. The further ability to connect to it is the das, and to actualize it's the bina. Right. So what I understand, your nusach is focusing on what says chachma, bina, and das is the midos in a person to have the mida of chachma, the mida of bina. Not the chachma itself, the mida of bina, the mida of das.
Wow. I'm writing that down in my sitter.
Okay. You want to be a chacham. You want to be a chacham. A person can have chacham, but they're not a chacham. You're living with chacham.
Right.
A chacham means to say a person has an attribute. He doesn't just go and do things. He's, approaching it with chachma.
He's smart about it.
Right. He approaches life in a way that is based on understand everything has a purpose. Everything has a purpose, a goal, meaning. So it's a midah. A person who's a fool, he just jumps at everything. He doesn't stop and think. He just jumps. A person who's a chacham, he is, he approaches things carefully and tries to understand how to actualize things properly in the world.
That also relates then to like how das, like, so without
that's for sure. That's 100% true. 100% sure. That's right. It's we were asking. It's like the das of the chachma to connect to the midah of chachma. That's an aspect of das. Before, what I was talking about das is any piece of information. Before, I was talking about the pieces of information. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's called das to the information. Over here, what I'm suggesting in your bracha is now we're focusing on the midos themselves, connecting to the concept of chachma, the attribute of chachma. When we talk about attributes, we usually think about attributes like chesed. A person's about chesed. You don't usually think about a person is a chacham. A person is a maven. He is a maven. That's what he does.
It is a midah. But it is.
They're all midos. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's a person who's a chacham, a maven, and I don't know, a yodea. I don't know.
Oh, yodea.
Yep.
That's good.
Got it?
That's good. Yeah, that's great.
Okay, so Hashem, Ruchat Hashem, Chonina Das. He gives us das.
Baruch Hashem. Now, why does it do? Okay, okay, fine. I get it. Hashivenu.
Okay. Hashivenu. Okay. Hashivenu Avinu l'Sarasecha. Okay. So what is the Torah? The Torah itself is many things. Okay. One of the concepts of what the Torah is can be appreciated by the Gemara, which says that the words Anochi, the word Anochi, the Torah begins, the Torah Shabbat Peh, Hashem gives us the Torah. It starts with Anochi Hashem Elokecha. Rav Yochanan says, Anochi is notrikan for Ana Nafshi Kesivi Hivis. I, my soul, Nafshi, I wrote it and I gave it. And the idea is that the Torah itself is the Ratzon of Hashem. The Torah is the Ratzon of Hashem. We're trying to understand what does He want. So that's what the Torah tells us. That's what the Torah is. It's God's. So a person can keep the Torah, even if he's keeping the letter of the law, right? But he's not necessarily, it's missing the neshama. He's not exactly understanding exactly what Hashem really wants out of it. You understand what I'm saying? We're trying to connect to Hashem's ratzon.
what he really wants, not
What
what
is
we
what
see.
is he what is it right? What does he want out of all these things? So that's called the Torah. So we're asking Hashem, Hashivenu Avinu l'Sorah Secha, that we should be to His Torah. What does He mean? So we should connect and do His will to what He means. That's Torah Secha.
Uh-huh.
Not because when a person
Uh-huh.
always when a person hears the Torah, they always skewer it to make it fit into their lifestyle, as we can see by the American
Uh-huh.
particular all the societies, every society, but particularly, you know, everybody in their way. Can I tell you? Right? So a person's always has a certain bias. So even if it's all doing the same facts, we're all wearing the same tzitzis, right? Everybody has to try to get to Hashem's Torah. What does He mean? That's what I try to do in the classes a lot, as much as I understand. You know, trying to explain. It's all about making a connection with Hashem and the Shekhinah and the this and the that, wherever it's going to be. So that's really what we're trying to do, is trying to get Hashivenu to return us Hashem l'Surah Secha. That we should be able to understand, connect to Hashem according to His Ratzon, and not just the way we understand it.
Should I write like just like I don't know? So I write like this is how I see it right now. So that we can connect to the real Ratzon of Hashem and how to relate to like Hashem's Torah with His Ratzon.
Yeah, we should know how to relate. Yeah. You understand what that means?
Yeah. But yeah.
Even if we're keeping the Shulchan Aruch, there's a lot of different people keeping the Shulchan Aruch Berach, right? They're not always necessarily relating to Hashem's real Ratzon, for what He wants out of it. So we want Hashem to return us, Hashivenu Avinu l'Sorah Secha. Now this word Avinu over there, right? That is a hint to the essence of Mashiach. Right? That's a hint. The idea being that Hashem gave His Torah to His children. These are things which bring out the Torah itself. That helps us to bring out our godliness. That helps us to bring out the quality. If we're really connecting to it, it's going to help us to bring out our aspect of being children of Hashem.
And what's the answer?
What do you mean?
How do we relate to how do we relate to his Torah with His Ratzon?
We have to daven.
How can we connect?
That's what we're davening. That's how we're davening for. Hashem should, again, these are all things that we need Siyata D'Shmaya to do. We can't do them by ourselves. We wouldn't have to daven for them. That's the point. Everything that we're davening for is things
there's nothing I can do for this.
You can daven.
That's it.
That's it.
And
You can want and daven, and Hashem should help to return you. That's all you can do.
There's no tangible work I can put in to do this.
That's tangible work. And then try to daven, Hashem should bring it on Hashem really wants.
That's true.
And he'll give you a hashpah. He'll give you a hashpah. You'll understand what you need to change.
That's true. Yeah. I relate.
Got it?
It resonates. Yeah.
Hashivenu avinu l'sorasech, v'karvenu malkeinu lavodasecha. Right? We know that we are sent here to do a job, and we know our avoda is to bring the world to its completion, like we explained many times before. Right?
Now I have a question, Rav.
Yes.
Shouldn't Slach Lanu be before Hoshinu? You don't like, let's say you fight with your friends or something, you know? It never happens, but let's say it happens. First you say sorry, and then you say, let me return. You don't say, hey, let me go over to your house and, learn with you and eat with you, and then ask sorry after.
It's an excellent question. I'm going to tell you off the cuff what just came to me. I don't know. I hear what the Gemara talks about. I don't know exactly what it says. But it says the order, what the order is. But just what I would tell you is like this, that you can't say slicha until you first change your ways. You can't do tshuva unless you change. If you didn't change, you can't do tshuva. So first we're asking to bring us back, and we should change our ways and connect better. And then we're saying sorry for what we did wrong. If you can't say sorry for what you did wrong if you don't even know what you did wrong yet.
Well, I like it.
That would be an off the cuff. answer. You got it?
Yeah.
But the Gemara does describe, I forget exactly what it says. I don't remember exactly, but it talks about it. That'll do for now.
That's good.
Okay.
That's good. I like that.
Okay. Hashivenu avinu l'sarasecha v'karvenu malkenu lavodasecha. Right? And he should bring us close to his avoda. And again, we can do avoda, but we're not necessarily close to the avoda. It's not necessarily part of us. Right? We want to be close to the avoda. It should resonate within us. Karvenu malkenu lavodasecha means it should resonate within us. Right? That's what comes out of us. We have a job over here. We should recognize that job. You understand? It's called Karvenu Malkenu. And again, this is the idea of Avinu and Malkenu. He's our king. We're taken out to be his servants.
Wow.
Yeah?
It's good. Yeah, it's good.
Okay. Karvenu Malkenu Lavodasecha. V'achzirenu b'tshuva shleima lefanecha. Now, the way I understand this, okay, we're asking for a complete tshuva, but it's interesting. It says, Hashivenu b'tshuva shleima lefanecha. Lefanecha means before you. The way I understand this is that man was created to be a little mishkan. He was created to be a little place of the dwelling place. He's supposed to be able to come straight before Hashem. He's supposed to be a dwelling place for the Shekhinah. You understand? So we're saying,
Aren't we already?
well, potentially we are, to the extent that we didn't actualize it. You know, if you have a little apple tree, it's not making apples. Is it an apple tree or not? You understand what I'm saying?
But it's not the same. Because
Why not?
we say on like from the carve aspect, bringing people closer, we say there's a part of Hashem inside of you. It may be tiny, but your goof is a bayit to that part to that neshama, no matter how small it is, So you technically are a bayit just by being, There's a Jew as he is, no?
Yes. Here, let me tell you like this.
Well, we can make that better. Basically, like we can do more to that.
There's two levels of it. It's called the neshama. Your body's like a house for the neshama. There's something called the Shekhinah, which is before Hashem. That's Hashem. Okay? So even it says if a person walks in a haughty way, it says Bekoma Zukufa, in a haughty way, he pushes away the legs of the Shekhinah, which means the Shekhinah wants to come in, but if a person doesn't act properly, he can't come in. He might have a little drop of his neshama left, but Shekhinah is not going to have.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? So even if we're talking about relative to the neshama, and the neshama also could be a very small part. Most of it, if a person's not keeping Torah mitzvahs, he doesn't have much of it at all. He's got really what's left over there is more the animal soul part. It's not the neshama part so much there anymore. It's been pushed away a lot.
Wow.
But the Shekhinah for sure can get pushed away. That's like a different layer. So we're trying to become, there's a mitzvah to become kadosh, to be holy, right? So that mitzvah itself has many levels, right? So over here, after we're connected to the Torah, which helps us bring out our potential, it's interesting, the word Torah also is lashon of hora. So hora means to say pregnancy, rayon. Right? So the Torah itself is a way we're trying to actualize our potential, just like a fetus. We're trying to grow and trying to actualize our potential of our neshama. That's also called the Torah. Yeah. So over here, we want to we should return. The word tshuva. What does tshuva mean, David? What does tshuva mean?
Returning.
Right. So tshuva means, so we're returning to Hashem. We want to return to Hashem.
Yeah.
We want to return to this relationship. To return completely to the state that we are before you. So that we're before you, so we become like a little mishkan. You understand?
And you can work on that mishkan. Like it's not like the mishkan could get more beautiful and they can have more rooms and doors.
Sure. Yeah. Definitely.
Wow.
And right in your
Beautiful.
heart. Definitely.
Beautiful.
It's us. We got to do tshuva. We want to do a tshuva shlim to return us. That's called tshuva. Means returning. It's not just for saying sorry for sins, but it's returning to that relationship.
Wow. So to continue to renovate.
I have a student who actually wears his tefillin a lot during the day also.
Who?
His name is David. I've had many conferences that are still wearing his tefillin, right? And that means he's before Hashem. He's living before Hashem. He's got the sheen on his head.
Wow.
You understand?
There's nothing like I'm saying comparable to tefillin. Like when you're in tefillin, that's like the highest form like of like day-to-day shechina you're gonna get.
Pretty much, unless you're doing like really massive, deep amounts of Torah. But the
For
tefillin is
me,
like
I'm saying for
no,
me,
the
for me.
tefillin is the most direct way we're going to get really in terms of that. We're
Okay,
connecting to the
yeah,
Shekhinah. We're connecting. The Torah can connect us to higher places in a certain way. Okay, but it's in terms of the Shekhinah concept, you're not going to get much, more Shekhinah than
you're not
that.
gonna get much more shechina than that. Okay, wow,
That's what. Yeah, that's pretty clear. Right. But even though the Torah has different effects, the Torah does more things, maybe different things, but they're more direct.
right.
Then it says, Baruch
Continue to
atah Hashem
renovate a
harotz.
personal Michigan all the time. Just finishing up. Sorry, the notes.
No problem.
Except
Please.
the shechina. Okie dokie. I'm with you, Rev.
Okay. So you say Baruch atah Hashem harotza b'tshuva. Now it's interesting. This whole bracha, like I told you before, that every bracha has its challenge. So the challenge of the first bracha was the understanding. The person usually thinks, if I want to understand something, so I have to think about it. What do I want to do if I want to understand something? So think. I'm going back. I'm just taking a back step for a second. Think. Go learn about it. If you want to understand something, think about it. What does that have to do with Hashem?
Right.
When you
We have
think.
to.
So the same thing.
This,
Here,
yeah,
all the
the
more
shema.
so, if you want to do tshuva, so do tshuva. What does that
But
do
it's
with it?
not
It's
so
up to
simple.
you. It's not so simple. So over here, there's an interesting idea that you should know that the Gemara tells us that when the Jews got the Torah, Hashem said, "Halavai, they should fear me like they do now." It's Mamash Pasuk says they should fear me now forever, like they fear me now.
Wow.
Because Hashem saw they feared him then, but they weren't going to fear him forever. Okay, and Moshe told the Jewish people, it's more of what He says, you should have asked, the Jewish people should have asked Hashem, so help us. Let us fear you always like we fear you now. What's the problem? Just, you help us. That's
Yeah.
what they should have asked. Hashem saying, Halavai, they're always going to fear me, so you should say, so make us always fear you. What's the problem?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The Jews didn't
Yeah.
ask for that.
Oh, yeah.
But
And
they
if they
say
would
over
have,
here that maybe would have given him more help and everything would have been different, but they didn't ask.
wow.
Right? So the point is, they say that a person, even though a person has free will, right, that doesn't mean to say he has to do everything by himself. The Chazon Ish says, you can see from here that even though it says that everything's bidei shemayim except for Yiras Shemayim, right, that doesn't mean to say a person can't ask for it. He's supposed to, if he asks for it, that's still his bechir to ask for it, right?
Wow.
So too by the tshuva, we're saying Baruch atah Hashem arotza b'tshuva, we're asking Hashem, we're saying bless him, he wants tshuva, so we're asking to bring out that quality of his desire that we should do tshuva, and that should inspire us to do tshuva. He should help us do tshuva. We're asking that he should express his ratzon that we should do tshuva, maybe we'll do it. He should help
Yeah.
us to do tshuva.
Wow. The Bechira subject always hits me different. Every time Bechira is mentioned, it makes me think about like, you know, makes you just think about like crazy thoughts.
What kind of thoughts, David?
No, just like how you said, basically without like over this year there's been like a ton of arguments, just also specifically in my shir about Bechira, just like
Yeah,
because
I've never heard such a year about so much Bechira discussion, honestly. I don't think I've ever had a year. It always
this
comes up a
year,
little
right?
bit. This year, I think the most ever. It always comes up a little
It's
bit, but I think this year was the most intense.
it's
I don't know why.
crazy. I don't know why either, but like in our share there's always like these arguments, and just for me logically it wouldn't work without it, but you just kind of explained how like in a certain sense there could be without it, because you still have the bechira to ask for things.
David, let me ask you a personal question.
You didn't follow.
Did you have Bechira, David?
I have bechira 100% for every single choice.
Well, okay. Just wanna make sure.
I fully believe I'm in power of what I do, and it's not pre-designed, and I don't think it's written down, and I think there is some sort of like das that Hashem has of what I'm going to do. Like he knows what I'm going to do, but that's only because he's been everywhere in time. Like if this was time forever and he's been everywhere, so he knows what's going to happen regardless of what I know or don't know. He knows what's gonna happen, but at the
Right.
same time, in the moment, I have the choice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, good, excellent. Okay, good. There are different. It's not. That's not the whole story, but you're good. You're good. You're not.
That's not the whole story. I can get deeper than that. It gets deeper than that.
For sure. There's definitely a lot of
Because
things that
it
are
speaks to
predetermined.
it
There's definitely a lot of things
speaks
that are
to me.
predetermined, but there's definitely a lot of things that are predetermined, but you'll still have your Bechira within them. You'll have within a
Uh,
certain realm. You can't be Rav Nebenzahl right now, David. You just can't.
that's okay.
You don't have
I'm fine
Bechira to
with
do
that.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so
I'm
within your
fine
realm,
with
there's
that.
certain things that it can be, there's certain things that you have Bechira to react with your Shemaim or not every step of the way. You have tons of
Well,
Bechira, right? And Hashem will just take you along the way He wants to. Good, excellent. Okay,
but
so in
Rav,
any case, over here we're trying to daven that Hashem. What are we saying? We're asking Hashem should return us. That's what the whole brach's talking about. We're asking Hashem should return us. We're helping, even though we have Bechira. So we're using our Bechira to daven to Hashem, which is again, it's a big chiddush because a person might think if you want to do tshuva, do tshuva. We're saying no. We're asking Hashivenu, return us, give us, help us, help us. Achzirenu, help us
yeah,
to tshuva because you want tshuva. Why should you help us? Because you want tshuva. That's what you want. So we all want. So it's all good.
yeah, that's chazak.
Got it?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay, my friend. So that'll
yeah,
be good
Rav.
for today. We
That's
did
good
2
for today.
days.
I
We
have a
did two
shear.
brachas. Yeah, no, I know. I want to let you go. I gotta, yeah, excellent.
No, I really
Okay,
appreciate
shkoyach.
it,
So we learned a
and it'd
lot.
be really
My
amazing
pleasure.
to continue, Rav.
Yeah, no, I want to. B'ezrat Hashem, we'll continue along on our
Bezrat
way.
Hashem, that'd be really incredible. And how you feeling, Rav? How's everything?
Good. We're okay. Baruch Hashem. I'm getting a little bit.
Baruch Hashem.
Hold on 1 second, David.
They're collecting the money for commercial stuff.
Okay.
So you want to get, where's the neighbor?
It's up on the top of the bookshelf on the top right. It's the 200. It's in a bag next to the shas on the right. Next to the Kruger shas on the right.
The house you want to get?
Yeah. What 200? Yeah. Okay. Anyway, that's it. In any case. Sorry, my wife just had an emergency question.
All right.
Okay. So we'll
problem.
see you tomorrow, same time as B'ezrat Hashem.
Bezrat Hashem. Thank you so much, Rav.
My
Have
pleasure.
a great
Thank you.
night. Great
You
evening.
too. You too. You too.
All the best.